Good morning, this is Joyce, and yes, I still have a squeaky chair, and I'm just, hey, we have to deal with it because I got stuff to do. The reason I am here right now is that I promised a quick little tutorial for these albums that I made. This one is the last one that I did, and I've already added the pictures. I'll put a link to the video below for this, but I just wanted to show them. Well, I have made a change in the little spines. This was originally a 1/2 inch, but I found that after putting in the photos, it didn't quite lay flat, and if she adds any more, which I did leave space for her to add more photos, it's going to give her like an alligator mouth. So I did allow for a bigger spine. And this is just a review to show you that there were 3 different albums. Like I said, once I put pictures in them for my daughter and my son, it'll be the same thing. They will have a bigger mouth on them. So let's move these out the way because I have to deliver the last one tomorrow. So let me first tell you what I use. The basic mat is 6 by 6. These are, let me get one that I have cut so I can show you exactly what they are. I got those from work. Oh, here's one. My company uses them to put samples on that are sent out to our customers. Samples of the different materials and styles of material that we make. So this is what it looks like. And it's not even a really thick piece of chipboard. But when they were going to throw it away, I thought, oh, I can do something with that. So once you layer paper on both sides, it does give it a thicker thickness, but it works well for this particular album. You can use any type of chipboard that you want, but the size is 6 by 6. So as you can see, I cut off this top part here to get the size that I needed. And I ink my edges because it is white and I'm using gray paper. I ink the edges. So I'll come back and do that in a moment. I just wanted you to see that you needed 3 for your covers and your back. And then I'm not going to do the matting of the paper because I just want to show you how to put the album together, and you can do the, you can add your own decorative papers to it. I've got 2 inside flaps. Let me show you. On the inside of each cover, the front and the back, this opens up. You're going to need 2 magnets because I've got a magnet in both of these pages. So it flips up, and it's just 5.5 by 11, and then you score it, and you need 2 of those. And then you need, for your waterfall, which is down the back on the inside page, your waterfall, you need 5 pieces of paper, and they are 4.5 this way, which is going to be scored at a 1/2 inch, and then 5.5 across. This one I made a little wider, but I just think it's too close to my fold, so I would have taken it in. So 5.5 would be good for this. That's what I cut the new ones. So, and that's that. So I have 5 pieces for my waterfall, and I used the corner rounder for my corners. So I'll go ahead and do those now. I'm using the 1/2 inch side, and So we can do all of those. And I also rounded the corners on okay, and I really should have done this off camera, but I'll do it now. So this album is really simple. I mean, really simple, and I didn't see anybody do it. I've seen people do waterfalls. I've just seen them do the flip-ups, and I just decided I needed an album that was quick to put together, quick to mat, and this is what I came up with. So this is the inside flip. I've already put my adhesive on it, so I am going to round all of these corners. And so, and I will put the measurements for each of these things on the video once I'm editing. So I don't want this to be long and drawn out. All right, so now that we got all our pieces cut, oh, and my binding, where did I put my binding? I think I told you that I changed the binding from 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch. So this piece is going to be 1 3/4 inches for these two pieces. As you can see, I have already added my adhesive. So what I'm going to do next is take my scissors, and just so that around the edges, when you get to go, when you put them together, so I am going to cut here, and then I am going to put it on this side, I think, so that they're pretty much the same size. And that's just so you don't have all that bulk around the ends. And so yeah, so I'll do the same here. And like I said, that is just so that you don't get all of that bulk. And most times I don't measure this, you know, I don't make them the same. You'll notice that they are slightly different. It's just easier to do that. So, and I just do that to all of my corners. But that's why I put the adhesive on first, so that when you do cut off those little corners, you don't have adhesive all over the place. So that is that. And now I am going to ink my edges. I really don't want this to get too long, and already it's at 8 minutes. So we'll see how this is going to work. I know I brought my ink. I am going to use the Tim Holtz Distress Ink Black Soot. Most of you're not going to really see a lot of it, but I just don't like that white showing through. So I just ink them up a little bit on both sides of the paper. And I mean, most people already know about all of this. Like I say, if you use black, then you don't have to ink your edges. But like I said, I just don't like to see all of that white showing when I'm using a colored paper as my binding. And you know, when you go to mat it, depending on your paper that you use to decorate with, you know, I ink the edges on that too, and it just depends on the paper. If I was using red paper, then I would have done these edges with red. If I was using black, I would have, and you know, I did the same color. That one is done. So Like I said, I just don't like seeing all of that white paper on my album. It just does not look good to me. And I'd get it all on the corners there, you know, on the edges, so that you don't have all that white showing. And I do it on both sides. I've had people ask me to do this ever since I made the first album. I've never really done tutorials because it just was not my thing. Although I used to write tutorials on a Ning site that I used to belong to, which went over pretty good, but it was basically taking, if I made a project, I would just rewrite the instructions for it. Okay, so I think that is good. So I hope everybody had a good holiday. Let me get something so I don't get that ink all on my desktop. And I'll just use this because being Tim Holtz, it's not quite dry. And since it has color here, I always put these on the inside. I don't want that on the outside. So I just take my binding, remove this, fold it over, and I want to get it as close to the edge as I can without having any large gaps. And I don't think I'm on screen. Okay. Alright, so I am adding my binding, and yep, it's pretty good. So I've got one side added, and then I'm going to do this side. So it's just a matter of getting it as close to the edge without having it sticking up. And okay, so there. Alright. Sometimes using score tape, it really, you have to get it right practically the first time. See, that one is just a little too much away from the edge. Okay. Alright, so that's one side. And then we have to do this side. So this goes on the inside. So let's do it on this one first. Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. I got a feeling that some of this is off the, so we do want to get as close to the edge as possible. Okay. All right, let's see. Okay. All right. And so we have one more side to do. And we are going to put that on this side. I don't guess it really matters, so we can do this side. Can you see that? I can't see the screen when I'm looking down here, so to know that I got it right, And like I say, you want it as close to the edge. Okay guys, I am back. I went and found some papers that I have inked. And I am going to put this one here. And I'm going to put this one in the middle. And this is just to show you what I do when I'm getting ready to do add my flips and stuff. Okay, so I've already put on the adhesive. Let me pull it up some. So that's what it's going to look like. Most of that paper, this is just for sample. Most of this is going to be covered by the flips. I need to pull out, I didn't get my magnets, because each of the flips on the right and the left have a magnet closure so that it is not flopping all over the place. So, and like I said, this is, I am not a professional at this. See, there it's stuck where I didn't want it to stick. Okay, let's see. I think I was just off a little bit on that. Let's move it over, because I don't want it right on the fold line, and I may have to cut a little bit off on the edges because it feels like I have just too much of a lip there. And I am, like I said, this is just a sample. I am not perfect at this, because you know me, I have not done any tutorials in the past. It's something that I would love to do regularly, but hey, we'll see how that goes, okay? So let's okay, and I tell you what too, you know, if you don't like this, you do not have to leave me thumbs downs, because I've had requests to do this album and to show how I made it, so I am doing that at the request of some of my subscribers. But hey, if you see something that you don't like, please just walk away. I really don't need a lot of negativity going on. I'll be the first to tell you that I am not perfect. Alright, so I can see where I may have to do a trim, but I'm not going to worry about that now. So that is the base for this album. And firstly, this is paper that I pulled from. So we're going to put that back. So let me get my magnets out. Okay. Alright, so these are the magnets. They are from Basic Gray. I don't have any nails, so I am just going to add a little adhesive to this before I add my flip out. And then I'm just going to put adhesive right here, and I am going to do it about center. And I really would like that to dry, so I'll do that on both sides, because I like the flip to come out that way. So I'm going to do that for both sides. And I am going to try to put that about center. Okay, so then I got that. So what I can do is go ahead and put my flip on top of that, my pages, which is basically what that is. I really want to do this and do it with 3 waterfalls. I think that would be really cool. And so let's do this because I don't have to worry about letting that dry. And since it is about 1/2 inch around, okay, so I wanted to be able to see that there's your magnet. And once I do this side, I'm going to put this metal piece on that side, or I may even do it here. But it's going to have to dry before I can show you the flip ups. So anyway, let's take this other side, and I want it to go in at the middle, facing the middle also. This is going to be longer than I really wanted it to be, but it'll be fine, I guess. All right, so it's going to go there. Okay, so now instead of using 2/2 of the magnet, I saved my magnet, and then I just use these little flat, I forget what my friend called them, but it's like very thin pieces of metal. A friend sent me those, and then it attaches right to the magnet. And so I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive to that, and I think I'm going to do dry adhesive along with the liquid so it'll stay down as I'm working. Okay, so let's take that off, and I'm going to add just a couple dots of the wet because I don't want it coming loose. Yep, so how many are going back to work tomorrow? I am going back to work tomorrow. I had to get back on my regular sleep habit because I have been sitting up until 11, 12 o'clock at night, which is so unusual for me. Okay, so that's why I put the tape runner on there so it'll stay. Okay, so it's not banana, yeah. Anyway, there is for whatever reason, I think I put it too far away from the actual magnet. I think I did. Yeah, see, it should have been there. So that's off a bit. So I am going to pull it up and put it there where it will actually close. See, I mean, it's not perfect, y'all. So anyway, there is that. And so when I put the paper on top of that, yeah, so I'm going to turn this way, and I am going to do the waterfall now. And I don't cut that little slit off on the waterfall just because it doesn't that's not a good thing. So I'm going to put this as close to the edge as I can. And you know, somebody else may do it differently. I left just a little space on each side, very little. I cut it like 1/8 of an inch shorter than, see, it's more on that side, which is not what I wanted, but I can't pull it up now because I used that. So it should have had a little bit more space on this side, but because it didn't, then that's the way we are going to have to do this one. So you just butt the second one right up against the first. Okay. And then you just flip it up and do that for each piece of the waterfall. And somebody will probably say, oh, that ain't how you do it. Well, you know, everybody does things their own way. They take it and they make it their own. I've seen waterfalls for years, and you know, I do what works for me. So, but yeah, it's like I said, it's a very simple and it's really quick. Really quick. And then this is going to be my last piece. So since I did 5, that gives me 10 pages. So flip that up. And yeah, that's too much of a gap there, but there it is. So see, that 5th one takes you right to the bottom of your page. And then what I do here, even though I've got paper there, I mat over this edge here. So guys, there is the base for your album. All you have to do is measure. I'm not going to finish it with paper. All you do is measure your 6 by 6, and it depends on how much of an edge you want to leave. Papers of your choice. And there is that. And I'm really liking the bigger spine. I really am. And so there is your album. And I would normally take and do this just to get everything to lay down better. And that's just me. You don't have to do that. I just wanted to show you how quick and simple that is. And when I'm making these, I always cut all my papers first, prep all my paperwork, you know, get everything prepped and ready to go, just like I did today. But yeah, and I'm definitely liking the thicker spine on this. So guys, leave me a comment if you like this type of video. Leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, and please, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And that's with the back. And all you need to do is you would have you need 3 sheets of paper, and 12 by 12 is the best to do, so you have less cutting, you don't lose a lot. So you'll need 3 pieces for this flop, 3 pieces for this, and then you cut, you can measure your mats. I like to leave 1/4 of an inch around. So yeah, matting is easy, and it's just you measure your paper and make the sizes. So guys, that is the base for my album. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna call this a wrap. Bye.